Good morning, gang. Happy Wednesday morning. So this morning I'm going to do something a little different here, at least to start, and give everybody a gardening video for the morning. Reason I do this, the other day I had mentioned in a video about getting what you need now, because when everybody else starts to do it, it's not going to be around, okay? Between plastic shortages and glass shortages and rubber shortages and fuel shortages and God knows what. Okay. So, I wanted to put this one out as soon as I can. So if this sounds like something you guys would be interested, you can get in and get going on it. Okay. Now, when we get into our gardening, especially in SHTF, in SHTF, there's not going to be enough hours in the day to do whatever you need. That's a guarantee. Okay. You're going to be working from daybreak to sunset and still go to bed at night going, crap, I've got all this that's got to be done. Especially if you live on a homestead now, about milking cows when it's still dark 30 or feeding chickens at, the end of the day and it's pitch black outside. Now, one of the things I always like to do is figure out how to make my life easier. Okay, something that I can do quicker, or where I can automate, if you will, something that I frees up my time to go do something else. Fertilizing the garden is one that can easily be done. All right. And I know y'all remember me making this. Okay. This is now pretty well fermented, and if I opened it up, it would stink like high heaven. All right. But it is one of my liquid fertilizers. And I did a video a while back for you guys on how to make liquid fertilizer for free. Okay, and I'll link that below just in case anybody missed it so you can take a look at it. Now, what I want to show you here is how to fertilize taking 2 minutes rather than taking an hour. All right. Put a little contraption together, and by no means is this something original or whatever, but it's something. The first time I did this had to be 20 years ago when I was living up in Indiana, back in the good old days when Miracle Grow had nice little bottles for their fertilizer that you could use. And of course, technology got with them, and they probably figured out what people were using them for, and so they changed the style of the bottle, and so now you can't do that with it anymore. But there are other companies that do it, okay? So what I got was a couple of these, all right? And the reason I got these is real simple. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. Now, the front end's got a spray on it, right? And the first thing I want to do, if I can get it to go here, and there we go, break loose, is I want to take off the spray head. Good reason why. I got myself a short piece of hose. Okay, you can either buy a short piece of hose or get yourself one of the hose repair kits and cut yourself off a couple of square foot or a couple of foot long section. I want to take that hose and I want to connect it to where I just took off that spray head. Okay, so now I've got that there onto here. And I'll move this over to the side and I'll come work on this end. Now what I want to do is connect this to my sprinkler. Okay. So now what I have is my sprinkler connected by a hose, connected to here, and now in comes here my garden hose, whether it's my IBC tote or a pump out of your pond or the spigot out of the wall or whatever it is, you pump it in here. I'm going to take this off. I'm going to fill this with my liquid fertilizer and water my entire garden. Okay. Now, one of these full will cover about 1 quart, will cover about a 500 square foot garden. Okay. Mine are 480 except for the big one. So that's pretty close. All right. Now, how do you know how much? Well, it's pretty simple. You're going to put a quart of this on there every 10 to 14 days, so 2 to 3 times a month. And y'all probably know that you want to water your garden about 2 inches a week. So find yourself a little rain gauge, right? And this you can just put on a post in your garden, put on one of the T-posts that you're using for your trellises or whatever it would be, okay? 2 inches on this one comes up to here, all right, to give you an idea. It's not just 2 inches here, it's the whole lot. But that'll tell you how much water you need to have. Now, you need 2 inches of water. You need about a quart of fertilizer for a 500 square foot. So run this thing, keep running it through. You'll use all that in less than 2 inches of water. And then as the rest of the sprinkler goes through here, no big deal, you get up to your two inches of water, and you've watered and fertilized your garden all at once. Move it on to the next garden, and off and running you go. And you can go split wood, do the dishes, whatever you've got to do in the meantime. Now, I know I'm going to hear somebody say, oh, that doesn't work. You need to water the plants at the base of the plant and not get water on the leaves. Sure. Okay. I understand your reasoning behind it. Okay. You know, don't have any evaporation when you do that. Okay. You put it down directly on the leaves and you're good. Not saying that's wrong. I just want you to think about something. When it rains, your leaves get wet. You ever driven past a farm and see how the farmers water? There's these huge sprinklers that go over the plants, running water out, okay? Don't worry about watering your plants from overhead, okay? If you water in the morning like you are supposed to, you will have the sun and the breeze dry off the plants before you get any powdery mildew or any sort of diseases doing. Do not water your plants in the evening. You don't want to go into the cool overnight because, yes, then you do have the problem with water sitting on the leaves overnight and breeding disease, okay? The other reason this is good is because something like this, you do not want to use straight, okay? I understand it's 6 o'clock in the morning. I hope you remember what the ingredients are in there. I'm not going to discuss them because if you are drinking your coffee, you probably don't want to remember. But you want to dilute that 5 to 1 or so, 5 to 1, 10 to 1 if you're putting it in your sprinkling can. Hence the reason putting it in something like this is easier, okay? I can go run my sprinkler for the hour it takes or whatever to get 2 inches of water. Great. Move my sprinkler, go on to the next one. Each time takes me 2 minutes, maybe 5 minutes to move the sprinkler. And I've got everything else taken care of in the meantime. Real easy way to fertilize your garden for free that you don't have to do anything basically different than you already do, except just make yourself a neat little contraption to do it. Just a trick for you. Like I said, this isn't an original idea. I learned this from somebody 20 some odd years ago. Finding the parts is a little more difficult, especially the container, but find one of these things on Amazon. Not a big deal. You can probably find them at the hardware store, or the garden center. Just make sure you find one where you can take this part off. And don't throw it away because you can always use it to go spray your potted plants or whatever. No problem. The only thing is, guys, don't use this on your house plants. Your whole house will stink. All right. We'll see y'all later. Have a good one. Pinball out.